In the absolute silence of space, something was wrong with the stars. Dr. Elias Voss leaned in closer to his terminal screen, his eyes fixed on the patterns of light captured by the Echo 7 orbital telescope. Throughout his career as an astronomer, he had witnessed collapsing nebulae, black holes devouring entire systems, and pulsars spinning like beacons in the vastness of the cosmos. But never had he seen the stars move to form words. At first, the scientists thought it was a miscalculation, perhaps an optical phenomenon caused by some gravitational distortion. But no, the constellations were speaking, and the message they wrote across the sky was as clear as the glow of a dying sun. Run now, before he wakes. The silence inside the orbital observatory was as absolute as the vacuum of space around it. Dr. Elias Voss felt a shiver run down his spine as he read the message once more. The words were there, fixed in the cosmic tapestry, formed by the sudden and impossible realignment of the stars. Each character pulsed with a cold, inexorable glow, as if the universe itself were screaming in despair. He rubbed his eyes. This couldn't be real. Maybe a glitch in the star mapping software, but the system showed no errors. The transmission from telescopes on Earth confirmed the same phenomenon. It was real. "Is this some kind of joke?" he murmured, his voice echoing faintly in the empty room. No answer. His colleagues had gone down to the rest module hours ago. Elias was the only one awake, the only one looking at it. A chill ran through him. He didn't believe in omens. Science doesn't deal with superstition. But then, how could he explain what he was seeing? Swallowing hard, he activated the direct communication channel with the Institute of Astronomy on Earth. The voice of Director Dr. Howard Lenz came through, groggy from being abruptly woken up. "Elias, it's 4 a.m. here. This better be urgent. It is. You need to see this." Elias sent the transmission of the data captured by Echo 7. A long pause followed. Then, Howard let out a ragged sigh. "My God!" Silence. "This can't be happening," Howard whispered. Elias felt the weight of those words. If even Howard, the most skeptical man he knew, was at a loss for words, something was terribly wrong. The telescopes in Hawaii confirmed the same thing half an hour ago, Howard continued, and the ALMA Observatory in Chile has been recording similar anomalies in starlight since last week. But what? Howard hesitated. "They're changing." Elias' heart pounded. "What do you mean?" Howard took a breath. The message. Before, it was just a meaningless sequence. But now the words make sense. As if they're learning to speak to us. A cold knot tightened in Elias' stomach. This made no sense. Stars don't form words. They don't learn. Yet there they were, aligning against every known law of physics. And then, a new message shown in space. "You keep watching, so he will wake." Elias' throat went dry. He gripped the control panel, feeling a cold, tingling spread over his skin. "Howard, what if this isn't a warning?" He murmured. "What if it's a command?" On the other end of the line, only silence answered. Elias felt the gravity of the moment weigh on him like a tangible force. The message in the sky was not just a warning. It was an answer. His instincts told him to stop, to shut off the monitors, look away, and forget what he had seen. But the scientific impulse within him fought against that irrational fear. He needed to understand. Typing quickly on the terminal, he accessed the database of terrestrial telescopes. The starlight was a code, a pattern, a rhythm of luminous pulses that somehow transmitted language. But who or what was writing it? A beep on the panel indicated a new batch of data had been received. Elias pulled up the Starfield simulation and fast-forwarded through the images. He felt the blood freeze in his veins. The words were rewriting themselves. "You keep reading." He held his breath. "This doesn't make sense," he whispered to himself. If the stars were responding, then there was a logic, a sequence. He ran statistical analysis software and overlaid a linguistic model onto the signals. The result appeared on the screen: 99.98% similarity to Sumerian linguistic structure. Elias blinked. Sumerian? A language dead for millennia? How could the cosmos itself be forming words like this? He had no time to process before another alert flashed on the screen. Another message was forming. This time, a single word: close. A wave of nausea overtook Elias. The oxygen levels in the station were stable, yet he felt as though the air had turned dense, hard to breathe. Howard. His voice trembled as he typed the data into the transmission channel. The messages are changing faster. They are. The screen went black. For a second, the module was in complete darkness. Then, the emergency lights flickered on, casting twisted shadows across the walls. The communicator on the panel crackled with static before Howard's voice returned, distorted. "Elias, did you hear that? I lost you for a moment," Elias said, his heart pounding. "It wasn't just you. Every telescope failed at the same time." Elias' blood ran cold. A global failure? Howard took a deep breath on the other end. "There's something else." Elias waited. "We received another signal." "Another?" "Yes, but not from the stars." The silence between them deepened. This time, it came from inside our own solar system. Elias' stomach twisted. "Location?" Howard's answer came as a whisper, heavy with fear. "Neptune's orbit." Elias stared into the endless void beyond the module's window. An infinite, indifferent darkness. The stars were not just warning them. They were pleading, and he was finally beginning to understand why. Something was waking up. Elias kept his gaze locked on the blackness of space, searching for any sign of what lurked near Neptune's orbit. But it was useless. The void was dense and indifferent, as if hiding something that refused to be seen. Howard was still on the line, his breathing unsteady. He sounded hesitant, as if he knew something he had yet to say. "Elias!" Howard broke the silence. The sensors picked up a signal from that anomaly near Neptune. It's not just a cosmic echo. It's not interference. Elias swallowed dryly. "Then what is it?" Howard hesitated. When he finally spoke, his voice seemed distant. "It's a pulse, a pattern, just like the messages from the stars." Elias closed his eyes for a moment. If the stars were warning them about something, then this pulse was a response from whatever was out there. A cold shiver ran down his spine. "Tell me you didn't try to respond." Howard hesitated. "We didn't send anything, but someone did." Elias' body tensed. "Who?" "The Russian Space Research Institute." A sharp alarm blared from Elias' panel. He turned to the screen. Echo 7 had detected something moving toward the station. The trajectory? It came from Neptune. "Howard." His voice barely escaped his lips. "Something is coming." Howard fell silent for a moment. Then, Elias heard another sound coming through the channel. A low, reverberating noise. A voice. It wasn't human. It was old. Something that should not have been speaking. And then, the sky began to change. The stars flickered in sync, a sequence of flashes Elias immediately recognized. Their language. But this time, it was different. This time, it was not a warning. It was a plea. "Close your eyes. He has come." A wave of paralyzing terror overtook Elias. Outside, in the infinite void, something was approaching. The station's alarm screamed. Sensors detected a disturbance in nearby space, but Elias couldn't see anything. Something was there, but it was invisible. Howard's transmission glitched. Static grew louder, and then, for a brief instant, his voice merged with something else. "Elias, you need to get out of there." But then, the voice changed. "You looked for too long." Elias' blood turned to ice. That wasn't Howard. The stars went dark. For one impossible moment, space became an absolute void. No light, no reference points. as if the entire universe had been switched off. Elias stumbled back from the panel, his body shaking. His mind screamed that this was impossible, but he felt it. He felt its presence. It was there, and the worst part, he knew it was looking at him. The communication module burst into sparks. The station shuddered. Elias tried to run for the escape pod, but something locked his muscles in an absolute torpor. It was as if his very existence was being observed and dismantled in real time. And then, a final message shone in the darkness. Not on the screen, not in the stars. Inside his mind. Now you see. Elias felt his body swallowed by the void. But he was still there, still seeing, still looking. The universe was never the same after that night, because he had awakened, and now he was looking back.